getting it's out there. All right, we'll see how this goes. First live stream. All right, so we've got, so the idea for this is, and I've done this a couple times, this project, WealthDoodle, because I look at these kind of compound interest calculators, it's just input fields. It's not super exciting. And so that's where I was trying to explore. I've done this, like I've said a couple times, trying to figure out like what is this like node, canvas, connector way of creating a calculator. This is V4 because I've tried iterated on it at least three other times. The third time was we were getting close, but it's getting kind of messy, and so that's where I was trying to do something a little different. Um, so anyway, this is kind of where it started from. Wanted something interesting. Then like the wealth doodle kind of side of things was looking at how it could like project, like your savings rates, investment rate, stuff like that. And so, and like the doodle side of like Canvas, like that, I thought, kind of worked well. It's kind of playful. Like I want it to be a little playful, um, and see what goes there. Um, so let's dig it. So let's first start out. Like what do we got? Um, Using Firebase with for authentication, database, and eventually I want to use Gemini to jump in here and see, kind of how it could work. We've got a repo which is public. We'll see if we keep it public or not. Again, we've got our settings for Claude Code. See how quickly we'll go through that, and then Claude Code running in terminal. Why not there? So this is kind of like the design. We're just kind of looking at like the old days of like with your doodles and with Herman's like what InVision looked like in creating like your different boards and setups. I like that kind of like from the top it pushed down. I'm trying to like think of something that's a little bit different than what kind of the traditional canvas is. Like you look at Figma, FigJam, it's always like at the bottom, things like that. I'm like, well, what's like like looking at like Procreate and some of these other, again, like doodle sketching kind of applications, like how do they work? So trying to have these like different panels, and maybe it comes from the side. Again, I mean, it's got this like canvas paper texture to it. I love the old days of like skeuomorphism, um, and having some layers to it could be kind of fun. Or like you could create a new doodle by like dragging this over little things, add some characteristics to it. So we'll kind of see where we can get again within their kind of current session of coding this up. So I don't have anything else in the repo yet, so we really just need to like ask Claude to create us a new React app. So and we'll use Tailwind. So I probably should have done that while had this going while I was kind of talking through the other thing. So the kind of canvas area and creating these nodes is going to be using React Flow, and so it's open source. A lot of times, with like Claude and whatnot, I like to just kind of let it run. I do, and you'll kind of see. I'll try to remember when it hits. If you've used Claude Code at all, especially like within the terminal, it hits a certain context limit, and then it compresses your conversation. It just like eats up your tokens like crazy. And so whenever you can, after you've kind of gone through a certain number of steps, kind of keep it I don't know what, like keep it simple with like how many tasks you're having to do, like one after the other. And and you can clear kind of what progress you've made. Obviously you can keep like referencing um, what you've done, maybe create like README files and stuff like that, and kind of go from there. So then clear out the conversation, start again, or not really start again, but start a new conversation, new task, new assignment, um, and build it from there. So let's see, and then I'll try hopefully to not expose any uh, sensitive database information. We'll see. With my first coding live stream, that's bound to happen. We'll see if it wants to work in getting this up and running. Why is it having such a hard time with Tailwind? So most of the stuff I've been working on, um, we've been able to get quite a bit done. What have I done? I built this one app called Lindovu, which was like the an idea around uh, figure helping to see what friends, family, what kind of stuff they have. Like my dad has so many different tools and whatnot. Like I just never knew what he had, and so either you have to just like text and know, or ask, hey, do you have this X, Y, and Z tool, um, or could they just tell you by putting it in like their own little like app catalog thing? So that was like a year or so ago with Claude and doing that only in the browser because I don't know if Claude Code like terminal was there yet. Um, and so, uh, yeah, it was a lot of copy and paste, which I think was probably in some ways helpful just because, um, let's see, can you, um, just because like you had to kind of copy and paste everything by hand and you're definitely like knowing like what was going where, or you could really see. I don't know. And, I mean, a lot of times you also would run into the issue of it would, come up with whatever changes, but then not tell you where to put those changes. So you're kind of like left to figure out like what changed, what didn't. Is it working? Is it not? Um, all kinds of stuff. So that's where it got tricky. Okay, so we've got our page running. I feel like this doesn't look like Tailwind is running yet. Um, all let's see. What else do we need? Let's get. I've got some like notes on what I think we can cover. All right, so add React flow. Um, let's see what we got there. Reuse with your components. Let's see it quick. Oh, okay. That's true. I didn't really tell it what we're even doing here. Kind of just got going. So it's okay. Refreshing. This is now you know, you say it's live, but it's not. How much of this will we actually be getting into like VS Code? I'm not sure. With some of the like Swift apps that I've been working on, like I've got like a personal history one, there we go, and like a personal finance app and stuff like that. Like almost 100% of it's been just done through the terminal. Because again, like Swift is just a whole nother thing. Let's see, can we check that tailwind? Sometimes it uses the latest version, and latest version is what, 4, 5, something like that, and like we can't use that because it's paid. I feel like it does that quite often. And also, like, so I've used like a Gemini with this a couple times. Yes, I think version 4. I think we have to go back one. Okay, is it free? I don't know what to say. Let's see what it does. See if that least. No. Well, shit. But yeah, so here's a canvas. So we're at least getting somewhere with our little nodes, and it's fun that like you can do this all already with just kind of the bare bones of reload. Kind of bland. That's the thing. I feel like in past times, like this is a screenshot, and like this is what it kind of like Claude by default created for us. So I was just like, whoa, that's colorful, like very interesting. At least for now, that's kind of what it was working with. I was like, whoa. I mean, that looks better. But or maybe it's just applying it to the nodes. Uh, it hasn't got to yet, but that at least looks right there. Okay. Hopefully, it doesn't go too crazy with my open-ended, to do whatever you want with nodes style. We'll get. That's the thing. I need to figure out what. Yeah. See, yeah, very colorful, which is fine. At least we know it's working now. It's applying styles as needed. But yeah, there's like some branding and stuff. Which if you want to go to that library, it's this reactflow.dev. And I mean, they show how you can create different stuff and whatnot. There is a pro version I feel like for the most part, you can do a lot of stuff with just the free version alone. And like some of the stuff, yeah, they show is pretty awesome. Um, and it's pretty actively maintained, which is great. Okay, so we've got our flow, we've got our grid. Um, let's see. So then I'll clear this out. Let's add a toolbar. Name. Tool. Yeah, let's do that for now. Because yeah, it's where we'll want to start looking at how we can build then like the number node components. Oh gosh, blue. That's a little obnoxious. But again, styling, we'll get there. All right, let's add the number node. Spell. So in previous versions, again, looking at like the compound interest component, I kind of was going the same route of having it just be form fields and that just not being that like exciting. I'm like, well, what is this really doing that's different other than kind of styling than what that calculator was showing? So that was like a whole thing. And then kind of an iteration or two later was like, oh, what if we do something more again with this like canvas look and have your spreadsheet essentially be a little bit more interactive. You can move stuff around. And at first I was thinking of having like the connectors have the operation um like as part of the connector, which like was and wasn't working out. So uh that's where kind of later on you've got these like bigger connector blocks that's like you kind of would drag multiple nodes into a single operator and it would just add up all of those. And then if you had, say, multiple groups that you were adding up, that could eventually become a final result or have it get displayed, like feed that then into um, a chart or something like that. So you can kind of go about it in a couple different ways. Hopefully gives you some of that like flexibility. Okay, let's see what it came up with. Ooh, look at that. Okay, how did the net expense? Yes, so this is where it's like, where did you come up with? Okay, the node has interval number, input field, customizable label, shown above. Connection handles at the top and bottom. Added three examples: income, expense, net with connections. Those are visible at the values directly. Okay. But how did it get to, let's see, yeah, there we go. So it's just, so it's not actually, okay, it's not actually doing any calculation. It's just putting in uh, fake data. Okay, that's cool. All right, can we add a, let's make it so we can add more of those. Independence. Oh, so top only connects to bottom. Interesting. Okay. All right, now add number. Okay, so now we can add infinite amount of numbers. It's cool. Let's see, so that's, so you can edit the number that goes up and down. It's funny, before it didn't, I've had times where it's struggled to add the like up and down arrows. That was like a whole thing. But again, as like Claude code gets better, I feel like it just makes it even easier to work with. Let's see. Let's make the title editable. It'll be handy to define what that is. And again, none of this is connected to the database yet, which we'll see. So it's either if we see how quickly we can get through our sessions, or if we hit an hour, we'll probably uh, call it with that and kind of see where we go. Okay, so no, very cool. And it's total fun. Okay, so zoom in and out. Great. All right. All right, so we've got those. We've got the number. So yeah, do we add the operator nodes then? I guess let's do that. Let's clear this out. Operator node. Operations for plus, minus, times. How do you do? I don't know what division is. Let's see what comes up for us. I haven't committed any of this. I should probably commit after this one. All right, so operator has two handles. Top for operands, one or two inputs for handles. Oh, and one put handle at the bottom. Drop down selector, choose what type, editable label, purple border, add operator button. Okay. I just think it's funny that it like puts the label down there, which is this like if I selected it, why would I need to reference it again? Oh, that's probably that's probably it going to show the equation. So if we do, oh gosh, so this changes to 5. Plus, no. Okay, let's see. So plot for the results. I don't know if this was. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if we get that. So as we're building this, feel free to leave comment thoughts on how you think it could work. Let's check his backslash for that. If there's anything like you'd want to see, I do want to add some kind of like chat to like create an equation. I think that'd be pretty cool. I have like a stock trading journal after I've been working on it for the last week or two, and after I complete like a trade for the day, if I close out of it, then at the end of this like live trade page that I have made so that you can just type in like, bought at 300, sold at 305, held for 10 minutes or, something like that. And then Gemini goes in, just grabs the text and then puts it into a more formatted approach. Or format structure. So I guess we get that. Got the operator. The operator's a little different. So 2 as well as 3 minus 2 again. Oh, I guess times 1 doesn't really help, does it? Oh, interesting. That doesn't. Let's see. Can we refresh the total as you update the number of nodes after they're connected? So it gets there. It's fine that, yeah, you like have to click on the connection for it to feel like it's got to update that logic. Again, I guess that's true. I haven't really explained who I am. So I'm a designer. I've done web agency work, product designer, working on internal tools, design systems, all kinds of stuff. Um, went to Laguna Art College for my bachelor's in graphic design. Love print, but for whatever reason, every time I try to get a job, it would always be like a website job, something like that. And so I don't know. I guess I felt like it just kept choosing me, like the web interactive world kept choosing me in that way. Um, and so I just kind of kept sticking with it. Even during school, eventually kind of was like seen as the like web guy. Um, and so I just kind of ran with it. But even like getting into HTML and CSS back in like the early kind of web 2.0 days, like man, it took so long for me to like get, I don't know, comfortable with it or far along with it. And and eventually, I don't know, I do and don't remember like this one day I was working with it and just like I couldn't understand, and then it just suddenly like clicked, and like HTML and CSS, how it connected and how it worked, just like it was looking at like the Matrix or something. And I finally got it. Um, and so it's like I've always done that. I've always kind of used more like the no code, low code kind of stuff. Worked with like WordPress and Drupal, and that like could only get me so far with like what other people would contribute to it. Because again, like I couldn't necessarily write like the PHP or the JavaScript to do it. And so now having like Claude Code or Gemini, all of those to be able to like do this kind of stuff is, oh, it's just so empowering. Like I would never be able to, or it'd take me so long to do this. And it's like I've only been on here 30 minutes and we're getting, pretty far along, at least enough to like have some connections and even have it like daisy chain in. Like that's that's pretty sweet. So it is, it's doing the operation. Again, like when I did this before, it was not this clean. It was struggling with some of these connections. I'm like, I feel like this should be pretty simple, straightforward math. Like what's going on? All right, so what are some next to-dos we can look at here? I've got state management and custom hooks, refactoring to clean, manageable architecture. Let's see. I kind of was having AI try to help kind of plan out what I should work on. Kind of give me some tasks. So let's see what it says about refactoring the calculator logic. Which again, I didn't commit. All right. I'll wait, I guess, again, till this is done. One of the things I love using GitHub desktop. Like it's super easy to work with. I'm not the greatest when it comes to branches and working on different branches and then moving those around. So that's definitely an area of improvement that I could work on. Um, I do like, and like this where it's like refactoring calculator into clean custom hook architecture. Like I don't really understand like what that means or like why that's important. I guess that's something I could ask. I gotta kind of like give me more insight into like why would we do that? What are the benefits or like the trade-offs? Um, And so it's just that like you don't know kind of what you don't know, um, in terms of like what you should or shouldn't do, or even like security concerns. So it's like a lot of times I just have to kind of go in and ask it like, hey, where can we make improvements? Where can we improve efficiency? Where are there any security concerns that we should have? X, Y, and Z. Like try to just if I hopefully I'm prompting it enough to be like, hey, I know that this could be a problem. Should I be rate limiting things? Like just coming in with questions on like how things could change. Or again, like I wouldn't know how to implement or look for security uh, issues. So yeah, like created a couple hooks, embedded some, updated some components, eliminate duplication. See, that's always good. Code more maintainable and testable. Great. That's it. Sounds like that's what we would. That's what we want. Um, I do like going in and see, it even works with natives. That's super nice. Um, like I said, yeah, kind of go in and just like, hey, look for where we can change things up. So one of my favorite things, and hopefully I don't run out of it because I have used it a couple times already, is man generating comment messages. I remember like working at a web agency and having to commit changes, and most of what I would ever do for anything I would commit was always like CSS changes. Um, and gosh, just to like have to summarize what you were doing, I feel like it was just so painful. And then this to just have AI like go in and summarize like what you did. And I really should have done this like two sessions. Like every time I cleared, I probably should have done a like commit. So this for our like first commit is not it's not great. Because if something broke, just remember we've got AI to undo it. Or to fix it for us. But we've got that there. One thing with with like looking for efficiencies is with like using Gemini and stuff. I'm constantly in this stock app where it's like it is processing like a quite a bit of information, and so I'm like very aware of how many tokens it's potentially going to use or could use, and so like every time I make any edits to the system, I'm always like going in like, hey, just how are we doing on what the AI is doing? Is there anywhere we could trim this down, be more conservative on how much it's doing, uh, and whatnot? So it's kind of fun in that way. All right, so let's see what else. What's kind of our next thing to look at? Let's see, total nodes. All right, okay, so we kind of gone through quite a bit. I mean, we don't have any of the like database or authentication, which maybe we can work on next time. Or I'll get at least that for the most part, like put together, just because it's got like the environment variables and whatnot that I don't want to have to worry about. What if we get charts on here? Like I'd love to get a graph worked up. Maybe use like charts.js. Let's see. I want to be able to connect these nodes to charts. See what it thinks. Yeah, charts were kind of a tough one the last time I worked on this. Again, hopefully, kind of approaching it uh, in these kind of baby steps. Hopefully, we'll get a better result because it was struggling at the end there. I do have, yeah, some areas where like I'd love to add like free text and commenting. So that again, it's kind of has like a doodle feel to it. Yeah, before it had kind of multiple numbers, you would drag the different operators in. Um, and like yeah, even kind of like the final result equation, but it's like, does it? I don't know. I like that you could have a final result that everything feeds into that has a different display to it, other than just, how it's being displayed as the result underneath the operator. So we might look at that. Yeah, other things I want to consider is like, yeah, formatting of the of the numbers, whether it's just like plain number, currency, if it's percentage, scientific, custom. I don't remember what I was doing with custom. But yeah, I like this little like preview is fun that it was generating in previous rounds, multiple decimal places, uh, stuff like that. What were other things? Was having like what like not components, but like reusable, essentially like reusable variables. So it's like if you've got, I don't know, specific interest rate that you commonly use or savings rate, something like that, you don't have to constantly put, $50 every time, but you can, have something that like a drawer or something they can pull down those values easily and kind of drop them in rather than having to like keep adding a number and building it out that way. So we'll kind of see where that might develop. Kind of, yeah, this like idea of what Figma has, but like not as complex of variables as these. They pretty much always be a number. Um, but like you'd have a label and a value, and you can kind of drag and drop those in. Um, maybe they are editable so that you could kind of assign them, on the screen, and then you could update that total, and it updates everywhere that instances uh, is shown. So like there's could be something there. Okay, so let's see if we had a couple numbers. Got chart. Okay, so we've got selector. So let's just add like 3, 2, 1. I don't like that. Put everything on the top and bottom. That's just for me. That's not like super natural, I guess. Okay, so we got line number. Oh, cool. And then if we change the label here, uh, third option, just the label. No, it just comes in as number. Okay, good to know. Okay, well, at least that's working bars. Yeah, and like the tooltip was having so many problems with the last. This is coming out so clean. I love this. Ugh, this is so much better. Okay, so then if we add an operator, because operator should also be able to work with this. So if we add 1, and we add 3, yeah, so that just comes in as operator. Can you? Oh, you can also change the text on that one. Cool. Uh, can't. Yeah, so it doesn't update that. But at least that's looking clean there. Again, I don't love that it's on the top. I don't know. I think of things more horizontal, I guess, for these rather than up and down. All right, you guys, you can all let me know if you think you would use it in a different way. Um, all right, so let's All right, let's see. For chart nodes, let's pull in the node or the connecting node name or label. So if it's a custom, not the chart label. Okay. Because yeah, it'd be nice if we could customize or have those represent a little bit better. You know, it's like, would you want to change it on the fly? All right, so it says it's done. But are you actually gonna do it? Or do I have to refresh? Man, let's try redoing this. Got a chart. Got custom name. All right, try that over. All right, let's just number. This is custom name. Hooray! Nice. Number custom name. Sweet. Yeah, eventually, like assign numbers. Because the thing, like, or even with like charts, other data visualization, stuff like that. You know, how do we look at bringing in like your own custom, like I don't know, I guess color picker or just like theme that you could use. And again, if you want, like with bar chart, it's using these different color steps, but could you have something that's more uniform, single brand color and whatnot going through it? Okay, great. So that's that. Look, we're only 36% used up of our tokens. It's ended up being a little bit simpler than I thought. All right, I want to work on next. I think, yeah, one of the bigger pieces is going to be uh, adding in the database and having it be stored, have like stored templates. Uh, it's gonna be fun. All right, let's see. We can summarize this, commit that, push it. Okay, let's add. Or no, let's change the direction of where those connectors are, or positioning those connectors. All right. I say can we? It's like I feel like I just hear my elementary school teacher getting on me about saying can. Let's this we want to call this connector dots from the top and bottom to the sides. And it's like with this where it's got, what, five across the top. It's like, okay, well, if I have more than five, like you can add to another connector and it comes in as the second one. So that was like, you'd have to have, like, why not just have one, connect them in whatever order, but then if you click on one, if you click on like the chart, it would have, kind of some configure uh, sidebar or whatever that comes up, and then you can reorder, what those nodes are. Like, because if you just have it connected to one, rather than like having to make the connection here, and again, like once it's connected, you can't re reconnect. I do love that now. It's like, oh, like, where do we go? Um, Here, so if I delete these, let's get that going. Okay, so now that's because I don't know. I just see it as going this way. I don't know why. It's just like how my brain looks at it. Oh gosh, now it's. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so the dots moved, but we're connect is still at the bottom. That's a great. Uh, that's great. It's like you position them visually, but then when we actually go to edit this thing, they didn't actually change. Like what edge, where the actual connection ed is. Like not helpful. Which I guess is I should have seen that coming when ooh, what happened there? Going into that style, that was random. No, still coming from the bottom. I mean, that's probably better, just because, like, the more free flowing. I mean, I didn't need it to be deep and smooth step. I remember whatever that smooth step is probably what it just changed. And this is where sometimes we take a screenshot to tell it this isn't right. See on the side, but the connections are coming from top and bottom. Let's see if it helps us out there. All the emphases are cached in state. Ooh, clear all. See, and then sometimes, yeah, I wonder if, I mean, I guess that's true. I did not, yeah, was it just that I didn't refresh? And that's all that it was freaking out about. Yeah, maybe at some point it'd be cool if we could like style those to look a certain way. All right, let's. Let's. That's true. Is there any? If you select. Okay, so it's just if you select and delete, which isn't like super obvious. And it's true, there's no undo. Let's move the clear all. That just seems like unnecessary. And then I'm gonna have, let's see if we can add, see what it does uh, about undo and redo. So I'll add buttons and keyboard. I want to ask, does Active Flow have native support for this? Because I tried this in the past, and it like built its own custom undo and redo, and it was not ideal. What's the search? This is where I should, yeah, like I could probably Google it. Like, and sometimes we'll see if this happens when we try to integrate Gemini. It like is referencing old support documents in which it thinks it needs an API key, and Firebase has moved away from needing that and just kind of automatically links an API key with your account in some way, which basically just is like, hey, you don't need uh, um, an API key like stored in your environment or be referencing one. Like it's just if you've enabled Gemini like as a part of this project, like you can just reference it and use it. So like it doesn't have built-in support, but I can implement it using a custom to track state history. Okay, well, I guess we don't have an option for native, then that's what it is. Which I guess I could search like React Flow undo 3 days ago. Oh, is that part of Pro? This is well, it's a Pro example. Mm, That is the question. Hmm. Oh, there. Undo redo is a Pro feature. Copy and paste is Pro. Collaborative is Pro. Selection grouping is Pro. Which I actually somewhat got selection grouping done as a like custom uh oh, there's just horizontal. Oh, did I not even like need to ask? Anyways, expand collapse. Auto layout, force layout. Ooh, dynamic. Oh, that would be kind of nice. I just add it between node collisions. Oh, that's funny. I mean, that was kind of getting where was one thing. Okay, so let's see what it came up with. Undo, redo. Okay, we add a bunch of numbers. Z. Hey, that worked pretty good. Redo. Hey, okay. I can deal with that. That's pretty good. Okay, no errors. If I do that. Yeah, so that's the thing, like it only does the creation and not the editing. Okay, what about to Henry do when editing the value? Or even like a connection. Actually, like, I mean, is it the end of the world if you do that and then, oh, it does do connections. Sweet. We'll take it. No, that does update. Did I lose my live updating? Maybe because it's editing stuff. All right. I think once we get this in a halfway decent spot, I think I'll call it for our time today. We'll meet up against 0. Okay, yeah, it's just when it was in the middle of coding. It's not the best time to be trying to test things out. Okay, but then, oh, whoa. So redo, like, doesn't have a limit? If I add a node, yeah, it's just saying it doesn't, and then it just keeps undoing. Yeah, there's something there with like, I probably should look up like how to manage undo and redo a bit better. It's not really tracking. I mean, maybe that's where some of those undos are. Like, it's there, but it's not. Yeah, because I went back like 3 or 4. So it is doing the number, but the node itself got removed by the time. So it's not about like tracking like tracking the order of things being done. All right, so we got 50% through my usage for today. So I think we're at an hour. Uh, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next